Hello and welcome to Competitive Crunch. My name is Spade and this is a show which is not quite bite-sized. Hence the crunch is more powerful and super effective. And today we're going to continue the theme of fairy types and talk about fairy type moves and attacks. And last time I was checking at the comments of the previous episode when we were talking about the fairy type Pokemon in general. A lot of the conclusion that people came to was that they are quite underwhelming. And one of the good points that was brought out was that there aren't any really good physically defensive fairy types. And I definitely have to agree on that, because on the current metagame we have dangerous Pokemon still, such as Garchomp and Dragonite and Salamence and Haxorus and even Kyurem Black, which is going to be available in December once the Pokemon Bank does get released. So we don't really have any good physically defensive fairy types, and that is definitely a problem. Although, I guess there's Carbink, but it's not a good Pokemon still competitively, so let's not talk about it. Already went through that. But that is kind of a problem. We have all those physically dangerous Dragon-type Pokemon that were kind of the main reasons why the Dragon types were so overpowered in the previous generations, and we didn't really get any kind of check or counter for those Pokemon, because they still have that wide coverage of moves to kind of destroy all the mostly specially defensive fairy types. As we also came to that conclusion that most of the fairy types, when you put all their stats together, most of them are more specially defensively orientated. So that is kind of a problem. But there's still room in the future that we are going to get those physically defensive, because like I said, I guess Game Freak kind of wanted to still play it safe with the new typing, because again, it's been like 13 years, and apart from the OP dragons, there has been pretty good balance still between the 17 existing types, so they wanted to make sure that this new typing wouldn't be overpowered. But certainly in the future, with the future generations, they are able to bring out more fairy types that might be able to patch up those weaknesses, and now they are just able to gather the data, how are the fairy types going to be doing in the current generation, and then in the future, I'm sure they are able to improve them and get us more better, maybe exactly those physically defensive fairy types, for example. But I was supposed to talk about the moves, so let's do that right now. Got this list. We are on Bulbapedia at this time, and let's just go through the list of moves that we got access to. Which one of the moves are good? Which one of them are bad? Competitively speaking, of course. And yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Starting alphabetically, we got Aromatic Mist. I believe that's the signature move of the Aromatisse, or however you want to pronounce its name. Last time somebody got really offended. I'm not sure if Aromatisse was this person's sister or something, because I don't know. He got really offended and mad about it, because you have to pronounce fictional characters that don't have feelings. You have to pronounce their names correct, because otherwise they will get offended, despite the fact that they are fictional characters created by some random Japanese dude who doesn't watch this video and only cares about the money that he gets from creating Pokemon. Of course he loves Pokemon and stuff, but besides that point, it was just extremely annoying. How do you get offended by mispronunciation of a fictional character's names? There's so many Pokemon around anyways. It's impossible to know all their names anyways. But that's just my little rant, and now we get to the moves. So Aromatic Mist, and it raises the allies' special defense, I believe by 1 stage, is it mentioned? Special defense of blah blah blah. Yeah, as far as I know, it's only 1 stage, so kind of a situational move, and if only Aromatisse has access to it, I don't think it's going to be too useful. And if you use Aromatisse in doubles, I think your best bet is really just with like Trick Room support and Wish and stuff like that. Or I don't know how Wish actually works out in doubles. Yeah, kind of situational, but yeah. Situational move doesn't really make too big of an impact on the metagame. Then we got Baby Doll Eyes, and this move has priority, and it lowers your opponent's attack by 1 stage. So I think at least the new doggy Pokemon gets it, whatever its name was. The Furfrou? Yeah, I think so. And then probably some other cute Pokemon. So it does have priority, but, you know, still just go with something like Will-O-Wisp. Kind of a situational move, and I don't think this is going to have too big of an impact. It may have some situational uses. Like, I guess the priority is kind of nice, but I don't really know. I don't really know. Because, you know, of course you can always switch out. Same thing with Charm. That move got turned into Fairy type instead of being a normal type move. So we all know about Charm, and competitively speaking, it doesn't really have too much use. So usually you're better off with something like Will-O-Wisp, which will give your opponent a status and, you know, have the residual damage and cripple the attack by half. So yeah, of course you can't burn Fire type Pokemon, but still, with Charm and Baby Doll Eyes, your opponent can just switch out and the stats will be back to normal. So extremely situational moves. And we move on. We got Crafty Shield, which I believe is the signature move of Klefki. And it basically works like Protect for all sorts of status moves. So I think Taunt also gets like blocked by this move, and Will-O-Wisp and Thunder Wave and such moves. So it's kind of like reverse King Shield, which only protects you from attacking moves, and this one will protect you from non-attacking moves. So I guess I would see this being quite semi-useful, I guess, in doubles when you have a Klefki to support yourself and the team from non-attacking moves. So if you have, like, I don't know, Trick Room supporter, you can go for the Crafty Shield, and then your partner is able to go for the Trick Room or something like that. And Klefki is known for its non-attacking moves shenanigans. So having this move on Klefki to play the mind games and just block those taunts and status moves and moves like that, I guess it could be a pretty useful support move on it. But again, its distribution is Klefki and, well, Smeargle that learns everything. So yeah, kind of a situational move, but it may have some uses in doubles, I'd say. Then we got a Dazzling Gleam right here, which is a 80 base power move, and it always hits, or 100% of the time hits. So unless you get an accuracy drop, it will land. And this move is a technical machine, and it does have quite wide distribution. So I've seen already this move quite a bit. I've been also trying it out on my Gengar, although I don't think it's really the best move, because Gengar has already pretty good coverage moves as it is. But the fact that it's a technical machine and has a wide distribution definitely makes it have some sort of impact on the metagame, and it's a solid Fairy type special attack. So I think overall it's a good move, and on doubles it hits both opponents. Also learned that when I was doing some doubles on the Pokemon Maison. But yeah, pretty good move. Pretty good move. Then we got Disarming Voice, and it's a random filler move that a lot of Pokemon learn at the beginning of their movesets. 40 base power. Don't really have much to really say about this move. I don't think it's like powers up or anything if you use it on consecutive turns or anything. I do not think so. But I guess it's a sound based move, so it can like break subs. But yeah, it's a weak move. Shouldn't use it. And we move on. Then we got Draining Kiss, 50 base power, and it does restore your health. Kind of a shame that it's not like 75 like Giga Drain and Drain Punch and such moves. But yeah, kind of a shame that it's a weak move, but like I guess it would be a decent option on something like Calm Minding Sylveon, although the power of it is a real problem because it's just so weak. And it's kind of a shame that Mr. Mime doesn't get it, because it has... Does it get Technician from Dream World? But I know it gets Technician, so it would be really nice to have Draining Kiss with Mr. Mime. And, you know, get the Technician boost and, you know, Calm Minds. And now with the new Fairy typing, it could do something. But now it doesn't get it, so... Yeah, it's still kind of outclassed by God of War, which is a shame. But yeah, Training Kiss, like you could try it out on some calm minding fairy types, but most of the time I think you're better off with something more powerful like Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam, for example. And then we got Fairy Lock, and this is, I believe, another signature move of Klefki, and it's basically preventing switching, but is it only for like during the next turn? So it's only for like one turn, so it's not even like block or mean look, which basically blocks the opponent for like forever. But yeah, not really a useful move, especially since it doesn't like lock like it doesn't work like mean look. But I guess on like doubles and triples it locks like all the opponents, I guess. Or does it also mean that you cannot switch out? I'm not sure, but I don't really see any competitive uses for this move. Not really. So we move on. We got Fairy Wind, another filler move that a lot of cute little fairy type Pokemon learn at the beginning of their growth and when they are just a little baby Pokemon. So it's kind of a filler move, 40 base power. Yeah, not real competitive uses. And then we got the Flower Shield, and this raises the defense of all grass type Pokemon. So I'm not sure if this is like the signature move of that Florges or whatever, but I don't really know. Kind of a situational move, and yeah, it boosts the defense of grass type Pokemon, which is like, yeah, kind of a situational support move. I think you have better options if you want to go supporting with Florges or something. So yeah, don't really see too many uses with this move. But anyways, next we have Geomancy, and I talked about this bit in the previous episode. But yeah, it's the signature move of Xerneas, and it raises your special attack, special defense, and speed by 2 stages, but it needs to charge, kind of like Solar Beam, and then on the end of the next turn, it will give you the boosts. But what a lot of people told me in the previous episode, that you can combine this Geomancy with Power Herb, and you will charge in 1 turn, and that definitely makes Xerneas broken. And I was kind of thinking, like, first when I heard about this move, like, I thought the charging was a real problem. And then as Xerneas got immediately banned to Ubers, I was like, why did that happen? But this is pretty much the reason why, because with Power Herb you can charge in 1 turn, and definitely for the overused tier, that would have been too much. But then again, Xerneas and its stats are way overpowered and everything anyway, so it would have most likely gotten banned anyways. But with Power Herb, you can charge in 1 turn. But of course, you need to be really careful when you use Power Herb and Geomancy, because Power Herb is only 1-time use. So you need to make sure that your I guess your counters in, what would your real counters be in the Ubers for Xerneas? I think Metagross was something that people mentioned, and then like I guess Jirachi could take some hits. You know, it does resist the fairy typing, and it could like paralyze Xerneas and then Iron Headed for the super effective damage. So I don't really know again, like which Pokemon would actually really counter Xerneas. It does have like pretty good coverage, like I think it gets like Focus Blast and Thunderbolt and Psyshock. I guess that would work out pretty decently when you have Geomancy and 3 attacks. Of course, you have to choose which moves you want to have for the coverage, but I guess it kind of depends on your team and whatnot. But still a really great combination, but again, you need to watch out when you use it with Power Herb, because if you happen to waste it while you still have some sort of counter, or your opponent rather has some sort of counter, then you would just end up wasting the Power Herb for nothing, as you cannot take out that some sort of Steel type or maybe Poison type, I guess. But still, definitely combined with Power Herb, such a great move, and I kind of have to. I kind of feel like doing some Ubers, because this combination of item and Geomancy, Power Herb and Geomancy sounds definitely really tempting. But yeah. Anyways, enough of Xerneas and Geomancy, we move on, but definitely a great signature move with that power herb. But then we move on to Misty Terrain, and yeah, this is one of those interesting terrain moves. First, like, a lot of people thought that these were kind of like weather, but because there was like the electric terrain, so people thought like, is it going to be like a weather move? But I believe, as far as I know, these stack with weather, so they're kind of like in the category of like trick room and magic room and moves like that. So as far as I know, they do stack with weather, but well, which one was this? Because I know there was the. Is that a grass type? The grass terrain. I think that like heals all the Pokemon that are on the ground, so basically gives them leftovers. But this one is different. And this covers the ground, blah blah blah. Protects Pokemon, okay, from status conditions. This could actually, I don't know. If you're in doubles and you have some sort of Pokemon that definitely does not want to get burned, this could be a decent support move, I guess. But in my opinion, kind of situational. I don't know. Not gonna have like real competitive use, but like, yeah, maybe in doubles there might be a few obscure situations where you want to support your Pokemon with Misty Terrain. But yeah, don't really have much else to really say about it. It's kind of just a random new terrain move that's kind of just random and stuff, and I move on because I don't really see too much use for it. So then we got Moonblast, which I believe is the most powerful specially based fairy type attack, capping at 95 base power, and it also may lower the special attack stat of the Pokemon. Not sure if that's by a 10 or 30% chance or whatnot, but yeah, it's the best special attack that fairy types have. So this is definitely, simply the best special attack that you're gonna have in the game, and it's definitely the most useful one, and the move that you are probably going to be seeing most of the fairy types use. A lot of them are also specially based, like Sylveon and Florges and Aromatisse and whatnot. So this move will definitely see use on whichever Pokemon that has access to it, really, because yeah, again, it's the highest base power special fairy type attack in the game. And then we got Moonlight, which got turned into a fairy type move, which is like whatever. There are still some Pokemon like Espeon or Umbreon. Yeah, Espeon gets Morning Sun and Umbreon gets the Moonlight. So on few Pokemon, it's definitely useful, but the fact that it got turned into a fairy type move really has no effect to it. It's still gonna have few Pokemon that don't get any other reliable recovery, but I guess in general, Moonlight is more useful now that there is no perma weather, because that was really hindering down Moonlight and Morning Sun and other healing based moves that depend on the weather. Because when there was perma sand and perma rain, it would only recover 25%, so that was really a bummer. But now that there's no perma weather, I think all these kind of weather based recovery moves are gonna be slightly useful. But then again, there's no perma sun to really abuse it with the amazing recovery of 75%. But still, I think overall these kind of moves are slightly more useful. And then we got Play Rough, or actually let's go through the Sweet Kiss, because it's another move that got turned into, and I have more things to say about Play Rough. So Sweet Kiss, we all know that from the previous generations, it may confuse the target when it lands. So like you never see this move in the competitive scene, so I don't think I need to talk anymore about it, because yeah, kind of a filler move, and now it's a fairy type move instead of being, I believe, a normal type move again. So it's like whatever. And yeah, Play Rough. Last but not least, because if you took a look from this list and you look at the category, which kind of move is it? Oh, it's the only physical fairy type attack in the entire game. And you have definitely seen Azumarill use it to its fullest potential. But yeah, I was kind of surprised by this, that there's only one physical fairy type attack. And this is again in comparison to all the OP dragons. And when you think about it, you have moves like Draco Meteor and Outrage that have like 120 and 130 now base power. And all the fairy type moves, the best you really got is Play Rough at 90 and Moonblast at 95. So they, again, Game Freak wanted to make sure that they didn't create too many overpowered moves. And who knows, perhaps in the next generation, or who knows if in the game's coding there are still some available new powerful fairy type moves that we don't even know about. Because it's, at the moment, it's kind of difficult to hack into the 3DS and Pokemon X and Y. So we still don't know everything. There could be some secret and new moves that are gonna get released, like whenever the Pokemon Z or whatever is gonna be the quote-unquote sequel to Pokemon X and Y, it may have some new fairy type moves, more powerful ones, but who knows. At the time, these are the most powerful fairy type attacks on the special and the physical side. And yeah, Azumarill is definitely a Pokemon that has seen a lot of use with this Play Rough move, and it's a great stab move for Azumarill. When I first got X and Y, or I got the Y version, I trained myself in Azumarill because I really wanted to see at first hand, does it get any good fairy type physical move, and I was so glad that it got one in form of Play Rough. And Azumarill with the stab and huge power is definitely going to be able to hit really hard with this move, but it's kind of a shame that this is the only one, because, you know, there's no any kind of variation, so it's always obvious which move are you going to be, what is going to be your physical fairy type move, instead of like having the option to choose from some other moves that may have some interesting like secondary effects, or I don't know. But, you know, we all know that a lot of other types, they have some versatility, and on the fairy types, you are stuck with only one good move, which is kind of a problem. But again, you know, Game Freak created this new type, and they really want to make sure that they don't make it overpowered. And I'm certain that in the future, who knows if in the Pokemon X and Y sequel, whatever that will be, there might even be new fairy type moves there with the move tutors and everything. And again, like I said, we still don't know if there's some other fairy type moves in the game's coding that we do not know of that will be like those move tutor moves or something. But at this moment, we are stuck with only Play Rough. But at least we got a good physical fairy type move that has some competitive use. But basically, if you have some sort of physical fairy type Pokemon, this is definitely your choice. At this time, I can only think of like Azumarill, and I'm sure, and I know that Play Rough has some at least pretty decent distribution. Actually, I could just go ahead and check it out, like right here. Which Pokemon actually learn it? Wigglytuff, that can't use Azumarill. Granbull, okay, that could use it. Yeah, Mawile definitely, because, you know, you've got the Mega Mawile and Swords Dance, you can put it on that. Stoutland has it, that's cool. Then we got, well, Slurpuff also has Belly Drum, so that thing could definitely use it. But I think like Slurpuff and Mawile and Granbull, Azumarill are your best bets, and Granbull kinda isn't good anyways. And then we got some breeding options. Absol gets it, so that's, I guess, a decent option on that. But yeah, if you are looking for the physical fairy type attack, this is pretty much your only choice, and those Pokemon that I just went through are pretty much the best users of it. But who knows if in the future this move will have larger distribution. But at least I'm glad that we got one really good fairy type move on the physical side as well. But who knows, again, what the future will bring us. But on that note, I will conclude this episode. Yeah, and we have kind of a extremely limited distribution of fairy type moves. But again, like I said, it's a new type. They need to kind of start from a scratch and not make it overpowered like they did with the dragons. Although that has something that has just grown over the generations, and with every new generation, Dragon just kind of became more broken with more powerful Pokemon added to it. And now with the fairy typing, Game Freak, and I guess Nintendo Pokemon Company, they want to make sure that they don't make this new type too broken, so they start they start real small, and I'm sure in the future they will keep building it and making it better, as I'm sure they will also notice that they kind of made fairy type underwhelming, but yeah, for a reason so, because it's a good thing that they start small, because then they are able to, you know, like with dragons, they had to create fairy type to fix their problem that they created. But now, as they created the fairy type, they want to make sure that they don't need to fix the problem that the fairy types could have, being a new overpowered type. So now they are certainly able to add more to it, but if they make it overpowered to begin with, it's going to be harder to fix. So hopefully some of you got something that I was trying to get at. I had some sort of point in mind, but I'm not going to ramble about it more. So yeah, on that note, I will now stop rambling and I will conclude this episode. So thank you so much for watching, and again, if you got some future topics in mind you would like me to discuss, feel free to leave a comment below. If you got some questions, feel free to leave those too in the comment section below, and I will check you guys next time. Until then, this is Spade signing out. Peace.